see the future, you know. And she knew they were going to fall down if I didn't move them. Okay, so this flute, if right in this spot, right here, it's got a dent. Can you see it?
I do.
It's a big dent, a fairly big dent. It's almost the size of a tooth, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got that dent in there. This flute is a very, very. These are all here because they're worn out, and I'd rather get a new one than. That's how much flute playing I do. I just wear them out, and they get crusty looking. So, this was one of my 911 flutes, and I think that the air quality was so bad that it actually destroyed the flute. Besides the people's lungs down there, I never saw one get like that. It just ate the silver right off of it, and then it blackened. Yeah, I guess there was something wrong with the air down there. So this flute made it a good part of the 9/11 tragedy. But then what happened in 2011, I think it was, or 12, yeah, before Sandy, was this thing called Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
Well, I was down there every day. Matter of fact, I didn't even come home a lot because I was at Occupy Wall Street. Most of my clothes come from Occupy Wall Street. The donations were unbelievable, and I had the motorcycle, and I was sort of had to take care of Yen, so I'd be like, oh, and they wouldn't even know. I would be able to. I was like, you know, I'm invisible on the motorcycle, kind of, you know, like sort of. I'm like a peering person. So like I would gather the clothes that I want, and then I'd be like, oh, what a coincidence! I got the clothes I want, and I got to go take care of Yen, and make sure there's food in the house, right? Because Yen didn't leave the house, and so
She does not like leaving the house.
I took loads of food. I took clothes back and forth, but there was plenty of clothes donated there, so that's where I get most of my clothes from. It was wonderful. I have such a fantastic wardrobe. But so. I was playing with the drum circle. I was ruling the drum circle. There's pictures of it. There's one called Philip the Apostle, which shows that where my head was at Occupy Wall Street. I always thought, this is it. This is the end of the world. I'm going to be risen. Everybody knows the prophet's here, and now time to all get behind the prophet and be the philosopher's religion, right? The whole world. And I say it. Did you ever go to that one to see Phil the Apostle? She called it and her name was Babylon. She's a big producer, so she's got me up there on YouTube. But I didn't put myself on. A lot of times I'm on there for being other people's talent, you know, or. So then, I'm not going to name names because we're in an election year, but it got ugly there. It got ugly, like, kind of like you would say. I hate to just say how ugly it got. It got more ugly than anything I've ever seen in my whole life. They didn't want to have Wall Street taken over by disgruntled people that were homeless from the housing boom failure and the credit card credit card abuse thing when they were giving them out in front of high schools, and now you got kids that are $20,000 in debt because they bought candy after school. I mean, it was really, and kids that were had college loans that were like gigantic, and they couldn't get a job more than minimum wage to pay it back. And then the banks were saying, we want to be bailed out for all the money we lost in something they probably contrived. And there was a saying that you bail out the banks, but you don't bail out the little people, you know? What's going on? And then the government, well, the banks are too big to fail. And you go, what the hell does that mean? You know, it's like I got to pay back all my debts, and they get theirs exempted, right? Fannie Mae buys them up, or Freddie Mac, or whatever, you know, buys all their debts up. So they're, you know, somebody come and buy my house that I paid way too much for, and now it's not worth anything, you know? Because they're all for, it's nuts. It was a tearjerker, you know? The whole thing was one big tearjerker. But they had to get those people out. So I was just there by coincidence. And everybody knew it. All the police knew me. Oh, they said, "You're the 9/11 Piper," and oh, you're hanging out with these people. We said, I said, "Yeah, poor people are on debt." No. Okay, so they love me, and Pappin, Sergeant Pappin, she's a woman. She knew me great. I could remember their names. I could throw. So like, great. All of a sudden, a new breed of police show up, and what they were called was trainees. And they were, because it was like a park, Zuccotti Park, they were whatever. I think they were like security team for the people that owned Zuccotti Park. It was something like Brooks. I don't know no names. But it was sort of like in the days when you had Pinkertons. I'm naming, security guys aren't as nice as police. Like the Police Benevolent Society. Benevolent is a saint, and he's trying to be nice. The police are public servants, if they don't mind, they're benevolent and they try to be nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should see what a security guy can be. It's like a bouncer in a bar. I think they just crunch people. Yeah, we'll break your bones and we'll throw you in the garbage can in the back.
They like scaring people.
Just scary people. Well, that's what they had, these scary people. To make things worse, the scary people do a thing where I think there's people at Rikers or so, where there's mentally ill and there's criminally that they could go and they could go to there and say, "We'll pay your bail and get you out, right? You're on bail, and you got to join our security team, and your job is to go there and rape, murder, and kill the people in Zuccotti Park, right?" I swear it's true. Every morning we'd wake up and there would be a parade of women going around, some boys who were raped the night before. We were in a no police zone because we were almost a separate country as far as the police. They weren't. Oh no, Zuccotti Park is now an occupation. It's private property. Occupy on private property in Zuccotti. The park, they'll take care of that. The security team will take care. Okay, I'm playing a flute player who basically looks like really a ringleader. I sympathize with the people intellectually, okay? They were smart people. They were teachers and everything. It was really, his teachers had marches and stuff. They were all, there, except for the plants that were planted there to disrupt it. You can't imagine. And I know undercover, so this is not the first time I've dealt with undercover stuff. So I'm playing the flute, and one of the guys there who claims to be a trainee security guy, whatever that is. I mean, security guy is bad enough. You got to train to make mayhem on people. Punches me while I'm playing the flute, and knocks my tooth out. See, I'm down it.
Let's see. Your beard covers it up, but I think we get the gist of it.
And I filed a lawsuit against New York, and because they actually flowed over to into Battery Park, and Bloomberg was nice enough to give me $15,000. I went to Bellevue, and they wanted to put studs in there and all that. The problem is that when they put studs in there, I got one tooth left. And the one tooth is connected to my gums and connected to my jaw. And then I studied it and I said, listen, your real teeth actually tell your body that we need food, we're part of your system, so keep your jaw growing and all that. The studs, you start receding on them because they're kind of like alien. So if you got a live tooth, you don't want to pull a live tooth. So I told them, no, we wouldn't pull a live tooth and et cetera and all that. So we whatever. That's the story of the dent in this flute. The Zuccotti Park story. All right, another day in the life of compared to Cuba, it was a picnic. Because Cuba, look at these. I'm from Cuba. Bayonet scars. You get that one?
Let me get it in focus.
The mother of all scars, that one was. I imagine how much that bled. All the way to the bone. Yeah. And Doctors Without Borders put me together there, and that's that's how I got my thing through Harvard for that. And then there's one more here. The old head crushed in thing. And then you wonder why I didn't have to go to Vietnam. I could say, like, between that and that, I could say my trigger fingers doesn't, this arm doesn't work, and my head, I'm just like, shell shocked from Cuba. So I missed. So lucky I missed out on Vietnam, because Cuba, there was a reason. Just go eat. The food is cooked for you. It goes in. Okay, well, we got into that.
Yeah, it was nice meeting her.
Yeah.
Is she just tired all the time? She's just tired.
I don't know. Yen?
Yeah.
She's as far above me as Jesus is, okay?
Okay.
No, I don't. Well, Jesus, I don't know why he didn't get a job. He didn't get a job because Jesus. Yen does what she does because she's Yen.
Makes sense.
You know, these are reincarnate of the greatest woman that ever lived. Unless you think you don't believe in reincarnation, but I want to tell you something. What Jesus said, and that's just, these are the people that don't. He goes, if you're willing to accept it, John the Baptist is the Elijah that you think's going to come. And guess what? If you go to a Jewish Seder, you open the door. You ever open the door? They open the door for Elijah. So what's this Elijah's coming back? Well, they say he never died. He floated away. Oh, okay. He floated away, so he never. Yeah, sounds like reincarnation to me. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. So like, and some people want to recycle themselves. I'm not a big reincarnated guy. I'd rather go into another reality. You know, I'm more of a Matrix guy. But I'm not going to knock the reincarnates, right? As a matter of fact, the reincarnates might have been reincarnated until I got here, so I could turn them on to Matrix. So Yen might be the last reincarnation of the Wu, and now she knows me, and I'm going into the Matrix, and I can live forever in the Matrix. I don't have to rebuy, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You see, so they had to get here. How would they get here back? How would they be philosophy of, you know how much it takes to make the Matrix?
Yeah. So no heaven, no hell for you?
No, there could be. To go detail on this? You want to know detail? The detail of the heaven and hell stuff?
Oh, that's going to take a while, though.
It won't. It's just real grown-up stuff. It's really like, PhD stuff. It's like it's like from the film itself. What's going on with the heaven and hell? Well, if you notice, I got a PhD in lighting.
No, I appreciate that you do
this. Whole house it got maybe 100 lights in it.
That's good.
Where are we going? We moving somewhere?
No, I'm just adjusting my tripod so it's at a good height. Sometimes it just looks like I'm up too much. Oh, that's nice. That's a lot better. Okay. Are there any other things in the house that you'd like to show?
I would drag the stuff out of there. It's locked up it's locked up. But I don't know. It's just camera stuff. Mm-hmm. Anybody can have. I know all this stuff in there is you can see in production in pictures. So I don't have to prove I had it, but I just whatever. Mm-hmm. The cameras. It's not the camera. It's what you have left after the camera's gone that you did with the camera that matters. Mm-hmm. If you did nothing with it, it was nothing. If you did something with it, it could have been a piece of junk, but you did something with it, right? Yeah. So it's what I did with these cameras is what counts, not seeing the physical cameras unless you want to do you want them donated to your school. So.
So you've said you've lived here. Can we sit down for a minute and you can tell me about your house and your family?
House and family sit down stuff.
Like if there's a good place for you to sit down.
I would say go sit down. Can you go back upstairs in the office room because I got my computer buzzing out there. But so you got real good pictures, closest of those, or I rush it too much, or the light's not good. You want me
The
to get a
light's
spot?
good. I think I should take a second to.
Want me to get a spotlight?
Oh, I don't need a spotlight. I just need to get some nice still close-ups. So.
You've got all this stuff in.
Oh, that's okay.